Okay, so let's start. This is Martin Świdnicki. Welcome CloudEight Virtual Summit. Big thanks to our sponsors, 365, IT Point, and Script Runner. And today's session, Microsoft Teams in Education. It's overview session about what you can get in Teams, how you can use Teams in education, higher education, in primary and secondary schools also, but mainly in I think higher education, because you can use most tools of the features in higher education, but you can use it also in any type of education, in trainings, etc. My name is Martin Świdnicki. I'm from Warsaw, Poland. Currently it's, sunny Friday in Warsaw. I am Microsoft 365 consultant. I work in ISCG company, quite small company, but we focus on project around Microsoft. I'm also one of the SharePoint Saturday Warsaw team, and we plan to do this event fall this year, probably in person, I hope. My main areas, my main focus are in Teams and SharePoint. I'm SharePoint guy, and stuff around modern workplace, and that's why I'm talking today about Teams in education. I also did a lot of projects in education last year, mainly because of COVID. But let's go. First, I will talk a little about Teams, about education and Teams in education, main concept, main tools. Then I will go through building blocks of what you can use to create virtual classrooms, to create materials, to work with students in Teams. Then I focus on main features dedicated for education. There are some strictly designed for education, and you can't find them in classic and regular Teams. And of course, demo I will switch between slides and Teams. Okay, before we start, a few words about distance learning. Currently, because of COVID, we are forced to do everything online, remotely, work remotely, do some tasks with government remotely, and learn remotely. It doesn't matter if it's primary school, secondary, or higher education. We have to learn using tools, using internet, etc. But the entire concept, when teacher sends something to student or students using mail, email, or classic mail, isn't new. And then students send them back to teachers, the work, tasks, notes, etc. It's not a new concept. I remember 15 years ago, I was able to 15, more than 15 even. I was able to sign in for internal studies in Poland, so it's not new. But entire concept was introduced in 1840. So distance education course was provided by Sir Isaac Pitman. So it was first modern distance education course. I found some information that there were earlier distance learning courses, but not much about them. So let's say this is the first modern course. And in 1858, the University of London offered distance learning degrees. So it's a quite old concept, and it was done a lot of time before internet, before Teams, Zoom, and any other modern tools. But that's also a thing worth to consider, that it won't end. So when the COVID is gone, or when most people get vaccination, So the distance learning using internet is not going to stop. I think it will, of course, there will be people that go to learn in person, to back to universities, to schools, but entire sector will closely work with teachers and software companies to create better learning, online learning experiences, because I think it's a future of our learning. Because I would like to get degree using internet. I don't know, from maybe university from the United States or France, for example. So that's quite interesting idea. So let's go to Teams for education. Of course, Teams, these data might be not accurate because it's changed from day to day. The numbers are probably bigger. So at least 270,000 schools use Teams for education, with only remote or hybrid education. Yeah, at least 85 higher education from top 100 use Teams. In Poland, it's because I work mostly with Poland higher education. So there's, I think most of them use Teams. 59 languages supported, and yeah, 5 billion minutes every day in spent in meetings. Yeah, I think the number is much bigger now. So as you can see, a lot of people use Teams, mostly because they were forced, but they use Teams for education, for to create remote classes, virtual classes, deliver virtual labs, etc. And first main point is you should understand that Teams, it's not a tool for meetings. Okay, you can use Teams for meetings, for to create a meeting with your students, but it's entire platform for education. So you can for teaching and learning. So you can create virtual classes with stuff around class, so documents, quizzes, notes, etc. You can create student community, so places dedicated for students where they can talk together, work together, share their thoughts about classes, about specific tasks, but about everything. You can build places or teams for faculty and staff, for professional development and for research. So you can use Teams for every single thing in your school or university. And Teams offers a lot of stuff, a lot of tools dedicated for specific task. You can use every single application from Microsoft 365. Is it Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Outlook, Microsoft Forms, Notes, Stream, etc. You're not limited only to meetings, of course. You can use Power Platform to enhance your education experience. You can create some automation application using Power Apps, etc. But what's very important, you can connect to LMS systems, so learning management systems that you can use in your school, in your university. You don't need to switch between or forget about your current tools. You can connect or integrate them with Teams. So, for example, Moodle. I did a lot of integration with Moodle. So you don't need to forget, stop working with that tool, but you can connect it with Teams and use it from Teams. You can use there are dedicated application store in Teams for where you can find a lot more applications dedicated for education. You can go and check that list. Of course, base common Teams application like calendar, chats, Teams, and meetings. Of course, that's okay. But you can also connect if you want to create a more complex learning experience, you can use Azure or dedicated graph services to make it bigger, more complex, more advanced. But you can, so you're not limited only to meetings or chats or working with documents. No, you can get a lot more because it's entire platform for education and not one small tool that you can use for meetings. And I think that's the one of the biggest obstacle, because people focus on thinking that Teams is for meetings and divide work with students to Teams and many different other tools. But you can use only Teams and integrate other tools with Teams. Of course, it's not always possible. Some tools, some services from schools or universities are quite complex and unique, but most of the tools you can easily integrate with Teams. Okay, let's go to and check what you can get from Teams in tools. Teams or Microsoft prepared 4 dedicated Teams templates for education. So they are strictly designed for education. You don't need to configure it every time when you need. Just one dedicated template for classroom to create virtual classrooms, one for learning community, one for staff, and one common. And if you're familiar with Teams, it's the same template, same Teams experience as in regular Teams. But we can use 4 types of Teams. And for tools, there's OneNote dedicated version or edition of OneNote for education. It's different from regular one. There is dedicated assignment application and grades. These 2 applications are working together. So assignment when you want to assign tasks for students, and grades when you can check how they perform and compare them with others. There are a bunch of other applications. You can use them and select them for your current requirements. There's dedicated application called Insights, when you can find how your student works, when and on which time, how often they connect to Teams, and how often they communicate. It's quite important especially during remote learning, because you can check if they work late at night or don't focus, don't chat. So you can find maybe some bad behaviors. I found out that a lot of students in Poland log on to Teams at night to prepare before next day or something. So it's not a good idea. Maybe they organize their time not efficiently, because they spend entire day for something else and work or learn, prepare for exam at night. So that's not good. But you can get such information using Insights. And quite new thing from end of last year, breakout rooms, or dedicated breakout rooms feature for meetings, when you can divide your classroom into small groups to work with groups, maybe for some and assign them some tasks, etc. Okay, so for templates, there are 4 templates: class, PLC, staff, and other. Mostly used is class because we create a lot of virtual classrooms. Let's switch to Teams. This is Teams for education. We start with these huge tiles that represent each team. As you can see, you can assign a dedicated icon for our physical science, or for every single team. And if I want to start and create a new team, as you can see, there are 4 types: And if I select class, okay, math, just like that. Then I can assign other teachers to my team, students or teachers. So I can know there are two roles. There are dedicated two roles in these teams. Let's say I want to assign anyone. And when I created that team, there are dedicated tabs in my team for files, of course, that's in common teams, but class notebook, assignments, and grades. That these 3 tabs are dedicated for education and assigned to specific application only available in Teams for Education. Yeah, that's the screen. And if you are familiar with Teams, work with Teams for Education is the same experience as regular Teams. But the main big difference, and I think the very great feature, is OneNote designed for education called Class Notebook. You can create class notebook for each class, virtual class, so for each team. And it's different from regular OneNote. It has integrated roles inside. So there are one role for teachers and one role for students. And each of these roles has different permissions for notes. And by default, we start with additional features to distribute page, distribute content, etc. And with predefined content structure. And yeah, we have collaboration space when teacher can edit the content as well as students. So this is the place where everyone can go, type notes, upload images, etc. So the place for just to collaborate, to work together. But content library is a place where teachers can edit, so they upload content for classrooms, for lessons, for specific subject, but students can only view that content. So by default, if you are a student, you go to content library and just you can read information from your teacher. That's it. There's dedicated section for teacher only. And in this section, teachers, of course, can edit, but students cannot view this section. So it's only personal for teachers, to prepare maybe exams, test something, etc. So private section for teachers. And students' notebooks. Well, this section is dedicated for students. So every student has own section. Student can edit his own section and view his own section. So that's their personal place. But of course, teachers can edit and can view everything from every student. Okay, and how it looks like? Let's switch to my Teams. And if I go to class notebook, at the beginning it's empty, so I must start. There are at the beginning we can see current roles. We can add maybe some or remove and add some additional our own section to students for students. But before that, I will go back and add maybe some students. Oh, that is always a pain. Yeah, student. And one more. Maybe Ashley. There is Ashley. Oh my God, other. Yeah. So I added 2 students, and now I will create and one notepad. I will call this and create a OneNote. and teams will create one node based on current permission, based on current students added to this classroom. It will take a while. Okay, it's done. So you can do this quickly. You don't need to wait for something to propagate, to automate. And we're done. There are 4 sections: collaboration space for everyone, content library for teachers, and students for read, teachers only section, and as you can see, there are 2 additional sections for each student. For other, with sections created or designed by teachers, and for Ashley. And if I log in as Ashley, I would see only this Ashley section. So each student see only his own section. And what's quite important, I as a teacher, I can maybe for this content, I actually maybe this one. Okay, just very simple page, but I can distribute this page, to my students directly from OneNote, and put this specific page maybe in the homework section, and that's it. Creates automatically adding this specific page to each student section, and it's done. So if I go back to other homework and go to homework, this is the section homework 1, and the same for Ashley. So I can distribute these pages and ask them to do something, and then I can go and check and click review work and select this homework 1 page and review it. Yes, for Ashley it's this one, for Adele is this one, etc. I can even lock pages for all of these students to prevent them to updating information after a specific time. So it's quite easy to set up, but a very powerful tool if you want to work with your students using OneNote, so to share content, to update content during classes. So we can send this to distribute this page or pages at the beginning of your meeting, and then review this their work maybe in the middle of the meeting or at the end. So it's up to you, but you can use OneNote to work with students, closely with students. You don't need to share files using, I don't know, I saw a lot of stuff that files were sent by emails or Dropbox, OneDrive, whatever, but not each student has to go to different places to gather files. No, you can use this everything put inside Teams, for example, in OneNote, but you can also use files in Teams to connect with OneNote. So upload files into file section, and just in OneNote put a link. That's also quite easy and very powerful trick, let's say. Okay, let's go back to this is for OneNote, and for this is for students. Very similar concept is introduced for PLC, so for teachers notebooks. When you create a teacher's place, a teacher's team, so PLC team, you can create a PLC notebook. And there are also two roles, for teachers and for administration. So administration can everything, while teachers can edit their own sections or work together with administration of the school. The concept is the same, just the 2 roles are named differently, and there are different sections by default, but entire concept is the same. The next quite important feature is breakout rooms. It was highly anticipated, and a lot of people waited for that feature. So you can simply go to your meeting and open meeting and create rooms inside your meeting, and then you can easily move participants, so move students from the meeting to specific room, assign them to the room, and you can even set up. Sorry, you can even set up a timeout for that room. So after 15 minutes, they have 15 minutes to do something in groups, and then they will be automatically moved to the main meeting. That's quite easy to set up, but very powerful. So you don't need to create multiple channels, multiple rooms, multiple teams for to work with in groups with students. Next thing is assignments. This is dedicated application for education where you can create assignments. So let's switch to Teams. So each classroom will set up. So I will go to maybe this one. So each classroom has its own assignment application in general tab, in general channeling tab. And inside you can create assignments for students. So you can go and create. There are two possibilities: assignment and quiz. Quiz uses Microsoft Forms, so you create a quiz. And assignment is more common. Just simply create a task for your students. You can type some write something about science. Yeah, some introduction. Yeah, we can add points. So how many points each student can get from this assignment. We can assign to one class or multiple classes. If we teach in multiple classes, we can even specify all students from our class, or one or two if we want to create more dedicated assignment. Two important things: we can set up the due date. So they must finish this before next Friday, and even time. So maybe not noon, but let's say 5 p.m. Okay, but we can assign, we can specify if this assignment will be added to students' calendar. That's important because if you work with calendar, you can easily check what's going on for next days, for next month. We don't need to write this or go to assignments and check. And there are additional. You can add this assignment to specific channels, but also you can specify additional options if we want to enable this assignment in the future. So we don't need, by default, it's created, it's automatically visible for all students. But if I select this one and choose some post date, it will start, for example, on Monday. So it won't be visible before Monday. So we can create assignments for entire month, 2 months, etc. So you can prepare a lot of assignments and they will automatically start and finish, and you just work with your students. Okay, if I go to this one, the climate change, a new assignment appear. So as you can see, there's 10 students. This assignment was assigned to 10 students. Some sent some feedback. If I go to this one, I can check the quiz, because that was a quiz. Okay, let's go back. There are also only 2 returned for this one, with some comments from these students. and maybe this one. Let's check. Yeah, as you can see, for this one, it's only one student returned that to me. Other students just waiting for something. So I can go check the answers, check the yes. But for this one, how much time? Okay. Let's go. And I, as a teacher, there's also one more thing. I get this assignment application in my left-hand menu. So I don't need to go from class to class to check if it's something new, if my students write something to me, turn it to me or not. Just go to assignment application and scroll through all my assignments for all my classes and check maybe for this one and this one. So for this one, it was classic assignment. So a student uploaded the document, so I can go to document and check this one. Yeah. There are two documents with some stuff inside. I can assign points, etc. So I can work with my students using assignments. Okay. And I can also export all data from a specific assignment to Excel to easily work with data if I want to calculate something, some additional thing inside Excel. Okay, go back. And grades. This is another one. The second application connected to working with students. This one, it's a virtual note with all assignments assigned to your students. And so each assignment is automatically connected and added to grades. And if I go to grades teams, if I go to for physical science to grades application, I can find all my assignments at the top and students here and just check how they perform, what's going on with each student, if it's okay, if it's something no, not okay, etc. So it's just for students, it's for they can check their own grades, but for teachers, I can monitor progress of each student. And I can even go and open this work directly from grades applications. So this is small but quite important additional application to assignments. Okay, and next, this is the Insights application. This application allows us, our teachers, to go and check how the students perform, how they work, and check their habits, good habits and bad habits. And you can even check how they communicate on which specific time slot, etc. So it's very important if we I will go and check that assignments inside. Sorry. Okay, it was in physical science. It's an application that you can add to your team in tabs, insights. Yeah, and because this is a demo environment, so maybe not many information, not too much, but yeah, 20 students were inactive last week. Yeah, of course, because this is demo environment. Yeah. But if I check for last month, yeah, May 11, there was some activity. Yeah, so as you can see on 6 a.m., some students were chatting. This is because my different time zone, the difference between my time zone and this environment. But in the reality, you can check when your students communicate, when they attend, how many of them are attending classes, etc. So it's quite easy to check how they work, what they're doing. If it's check their habits, for example, for Adele, that Adele often works early in the morning, or maybe in the night, etc. And from my experience, a lot of people work at night, late or even after midnight. So it's of course bad habit, but it's quite common currently during this time. Okay, and this is all from the main features, some slides. But let's go to Teams, and I will show you some additional features. Let's go to this physical science again. Please go. And so this is the class notebook, assignment, and grade. So these three dedicated features. There's also Assign Insights application, but as you can see, there are more. So you can create or add more application. So if I go and click plus button, I can select add any application from the store. By default, there are a lot of free applications from Microsoft and from third-party vendors. For example, Excel, forms, lists, documents, PDF files, etc. But you can go and search if you're using something from third-party vendors. If I check for Moodle, it's not, because the connection is quite. It's not so. It's not in store. But let's say Kahoot. Yeah, Kahoot is there. I can even go and check manage apps or apps. And in the left-hand menu, there's education category. So you can go and check what is in this category. Sorry. And maybe some math from Microsoft. Maybe some polls, Quizlets, etc. So you can go and check if there's something that you can use out of the box, or maybe you should connect it with some additional steps. For example, Moodle. So there's a lot of applications. If I want to add math, just click add, and I can use this bot to help me solve some expressions, etc. So Microsoft adds a lot of new application each month. This is here also in the left-hand menu. This is in preview mode, so it's quite new application. Even plot something, type of my something like that, and it will automatically plot your equation. So it might be useful if you teach math or stuff around that, so maybe physics, etc. But shows the entire concept that you can go to Teams and add specific applications that you required for your subject, for your classroom. You don't need to use generic application on files and notes. Now you can go and maybe upload video files, use these video files, show these video files for your students, etc. Use, for example, Stream, when you can upload media files and share these files to your students to allow them to check something when they want, not to wait for another meeting or something like that. So it's quite easy to add more and more application. And what is also very, very important, and this is thing that a lot of teachers get confused and don't know how to use it. By default, we start with, I will go to this to my math team classroom. By default, we start with a general channel. And it's okay, but this is general channel, and we should add more channels. divide communication into these channels and to make it clear and make it clean for students. When we use general, everything will go to this channel, and there will be a lot of mess, a lot of spam, etc. So a good thing is to think about how we want to divide our team into channels. So create maybe for weeks. So create 10 channels for each one for each week, maybe for groups, maybe for something like that, but not too many. I saw a lot of teams with 20, 30, 40 channels. That's not good because nobody will use that. It's too many, so we only focus on one or two, and others just forget. And don't use too many private channels, because we can create private channel, add a channel, and private channel is visible only for people private, only for people that we add to this channel. They can be teachers as well as students, so it doesn't matter, but we must add specific people to allow him to view this channel. And if we create a lot of channels, private channels, 5, 10, 12, etc., it's not easy to manage because we must remember in which channel is which student, etc. And it creates a lot of problems later during the classes. So if you want to create private channel, create 1, maybe 2, but do not create 5, 10, 15, because it's it won't work. Okay, so let's go to my slides. And that's it from my side. That's, I think, all from my side about overview of Teams in education. If you have any questions, please type them in chat. Okay, I can't see anything else, anything yet, but if you have anything, just type it in chat. I will stay here for a minute or two. So, but then for entire teams, I think that the most important feature in the entire teams, besides meetings, of course, and some dedicated features for meetings, breakout rooms, etc., is definitely, from my experience and from my colleagues' experience, the OneNote, because it's so powerful. You can use only this one tool to allow students to work with them, to send information to them. It's quite easy. There's the search, dedicated, very fast search for information. You can quickly find what you're looking for, and just use that one digital notes with some additional options for each student. So, and what's very important, I forget about that. This is my physical science team, and I have a lot of students here. And in the middle of the week, if I add someone to my team, OneNote added automatically to the sections and create a section dedicated for these new students. So I don't need to remember to add section for a new student, or click on some button to trigger something. No, just add a new student and Teams will do the rest. So add it to the OneNote, share this OneNote to him, add dedicated section for that student, etc. So it's really very powerful, and use OneNote. Okay, so you should have any questions. No. Okay, so thank you very much, guys, for attending my session. And of course, check other session, because we have 3 parallel tracks. So you can go and select session that you want to watch. Okay, so thank you very much again, and have a nice day.